Japan is one of the world's top tourist destinations, and for good reason. With a reputation that precedes it, one of its most unique features being its rich cultural heritage, Japan's reputation for tradition, courtesy, and respect sets it far apart from other countries. A combination of cultural, natural, and modern attractions consistently draw tourists from around the world. In 2022, my brother and I were lucky enough to find our way to Osaka, a tiny little town in northern Japan that hosted a school for those who were curious enough to fly across the world for the opportunity. My more recent visits have been a lot more urban, but I've never been able to stay. Japan launched its working holiday program in the 1980s, making it one of the first Asian countries to open its doors to young travelers in this way. The concept of a working holiday visa started to take shape in the mid-20th century. After World War II, countries like the United Kingdom and Australia began signing agreements that allowed people to work and support their travels abroad. These visas were designed to foster cultural exchange, allowing its participants to immerse themselves in different lifestyles and build international friendships. So as a Canadian, what do you need for the working holiday visa? You must be a Canadian citizen that is currently residing in Canada.
You must be between the ages of 18 and 30 when you submit your application, and that means you could submit when you're 30 all the way up until the day before your 31st birthday.
Another main requirement is you do have to prove you have enough money in your bank account. So this can be $3,500 Canadian if you have a round trip ticket, $4,500 if you have a one-way ticket, or over $5,000 if you have no ticket there at all.
I think one of the most obvious requirements is that you have to have a passport, but what a lot of people don't realize is it has to be valid for at least 6 months, and you have to have at least one page so that they have somewhere to put the visa when you get it.
Another main requirement is that you have to be healthy and have not had a criminal record. And lastly, and I think most importantly, is you actually have to want to go and holiday in Japan. The purpose of this visa is not to work, it's not to be a student, it is just for extended tourism.
So the bank statements is where it gets a little bit tricky with me purely because of how I set up my life. So I have 3 different banks. One I use for savings, the other 2 I use for money coming in. So the problem with that is they want to make sure your funds are cleared. So you need to provide 3 months worth of banking statements of your savings account. However, because I have no money coming into my savings account except for what I send there through e-transfer, I also need to provide the other 2 banks and prove that the money that I'm sending to my savings account is in fact my money from the same payment, the same job, right? They just want to make sure a friend isn't sending you money and then as soon as you get accepted, you have to send it back to that friend. They want to make sure the money is yours.
So as you can see here, I filled out the itinerary quite well. I didn't think I'd be able to fit everything in that I needed to on the computer, so I just printed out the document. I printed out 2 because I wanted to put as much as possible. Because the one thing I was told by the phone person when I called the embassy asking questions was the main reason why people get denied is they don't put enough information. They'll say like, oh, I want to go to Osaka, or oh, I want to go, to Tokyo and do like a hike or something. But she's like, if you say stuff like that, you have to put like the exact trail you want to go do a hike. I went a step further and put like the exact dates roughly. So I have something for like kind of every week, especially if there's like a main holiday or something. So obviously December's packed, January's packed because of Christmas and New Year's. And then you can see it kind of dies down like February, March, April. It's like I have a couple things for each month because I just want to chill. But yeah, so that is my form filled out for the itinerary. As much detail as possible.
The main thing that you actually need for this visa is the actual application form. So let's go through this together. Given and middle names as shown in passport, just your first and middle name if you have one. If you don't have one, don't worry about it. Other names, including any other names you are or have been known by. So I personally have had a name change back in 2020. So when I got this done, I got a little form that says like this person has officially changed their name. I did call the embassy to clarify on this. If I've had a different name, do I have to provide documentation showing, like, do I have to bring in my name change document? She said, as long as all of my ID that I am bringing to prove who I am is in my current name, then I don't have to bring proof. Write down if you had other names anyways. I'm just saying you don't have to bring proof that you changed your name. former and or other nationalities or citizenships. So for this one, I'm Canadian, but I also have my British citizenship. I also called about that to inquire if I needed to bring proof of my other citizenships. As long as I don't have a passport for that other citizenship, I didn't have to bring anything. I still brought the document that said I was a citizen, but she took one look at it and she's like, oh, we don't need this. So write down if you have other citizenships, but again, you don't need proof unless you have a passport for that other country. Passport type. For me, I'm just like a normal person, so mine's ordinary. I'm not a diplomat and I'm not on any official business. This is the most important part that I see people asking questions about online, the certificate of eligibility. You don't need that for a working holiday visa. Date of arrival in Japan, this one be careful for because I am leaving on the 9th. However, I'm not actually getting to Japan until the 10th because of the time change. So make sure you don't mess that up. Chances are, if you're flying in from Canada, an entire day has elapsed, so make sure you just put in the proper date. Guarantor reference in Japan. This is another one on the working holiday visa that you do not need. Inviter in Japan. This is another one that you can leave blank. You do not have an inviter in Japan because this is a special type of visa. And that is the application. It's pretty straightforward. It's very small. It's only 2 pages. The only kind of confusing part is the fact that this is the application for most visas. So there's a lot of parts that you don't have to fill out.
This is apparently the easiest visa you can get for Japan. And look how thick it is. Like, this is the easiest one you can get. This is the one where you don't need any qualifications. You just need money, right? Look how thick that is. That's a thick boy. Okay, I don't even want to imagine what the proper visas are like, okay? That's insane. Like, it has, you can't really tell. The camera doesn't do it justice. It has weight. It has weight. Okay, so it is the part of the visa. We're getting close. My appointment's in 2 days. I have to go get a doctor's note saying that I am not sick. I'm assuming it's to make sure that I'm not going to just try to use Japan's free healthcare system as soon as I land. Even though in Canada we already have free healthcare. Anyways, yeah, we're off to for a doctor to go tell me that I'm healthy.
After the perilous journey of what is known as the TTC in Toronto, I finally made it to the doctor downtown. Obviously I couldn't film what was happening when it was happening, so the appointment went fine.
Okay, so I just got my medical letter. The whole process probably took like maybe 15 minutes because I booked an appointment, so most of the waiting was just waiting for my turn. There was a slight hiccup because the doctor misspelled my name, so I had to wait for him to not be busy again so he could reprint it with my proper name. The actual online thing for Canada says you just need a medical note. It doesn't specify what kind. They don't give you any sort of layout or format that you need somebody to fill out. And the clinic that I went to just does a very basic, even the signature was like photocopied and just printed out. The only thing it says I for sure need is it has to be an original note. So I kind of just went back and he fixed my name. I'm like, can you also just like sign it properly with a pen? Because the signature is very clearly printed. So all in all, that's my only worry about the note, is the fact that the signature is printed and then beside it he did a pen signature. So hopefully that's okay. I don't see why it wouldn't be because the official stamp is there. I'm kind of just trying to voice everything so you know my head going through this process, because there's no video like this on YouTube for Canadians. I'm voicing my concerns out loud because I'm assuming if you're watching this video you probably have the same or similar concerns. Okay, but yeah, that's another thing checked off the list. Sit check. And I even got the I got the Femima on for good luck.
Alright.
I forgot to mention this is kind of a two-parter to the day. I'm also going to get my photos done for the application. I'm gonna do that at Shoppers because I think it's like $20. I could be wrong. I looked up really hard though, because the place where you get your passport photos is the same place that I have to apply for my visa. Maybe that wasn't luck. Maybe that was planned. I don't know. I just don't have to go to 2 places, so that's good for me.
Hi.
Hi, I just need passport photos.
Sure. Have a seat.
Okay, awesome. Thank you.
You getting Canadian passport?
Japanese.
Japanese, okay.
Yeah.
Alright, so no smiling.
Right.
Sweet. Is there anything you want to change or adjust?
No, that's perfect.
That's good?
Awesome.
Okay.
Okay, now I have time to fix the things that I messed up on my application that I forgot to write down. Okay, so that wasn't bad. It was only $29.36, so that's like $30 to get them taken and printed for me. This building's so nice. I've been in it before when I had to get my COVID visa, but I forgot how big it is. Oh, heck. I didn't look up what floor. I don't know why. I just thought it would take me there. 33.
Check there. Where you going to?
Closer section. So I just left. I had to sit there for like half an hour. I didn't realize they go over the documents right then and there. The person, I guess the pickup of the visa is just for the official stamp, and that's what takes a couple days. But they kept everything. Everything was fine. They asked me a few questions. It was kind of scary. They were like, "Can you explain your bank statements?" And I knew that's what it was going to be. But I got the little piece of paper. I'm not going to show you the side with my info on it, but it gives me the pickup date. If anything's wrong, they'll call. And if they don't call, it means I can pick up my passport and my visa on the day. So I'm outside of the Japan embassy here in Toronto again, and today is the day that I'm going to pick up my visa, and I'm so jealous of all of you guys because that was just like a quick transition, but I actually was just living the last 6 days stressed thinking about this. Again, I can't film in the actual embassy, so you're not allowed cameras in there. But yeah, so I'm here again. I'm here to pick it up. I'll either get my visa or I'll just get my passport back with a denied stamp. I'm nervous. They have Christmas trees up this time. Those weren't there when I was just here last week. It is finally Christmas. I just saw someone leave this elevator and they looked quite upset. Oh, hopefully that was for a different reason. I'm overthinking. I'm overthinking so much. We are back again. I got it. I got it. I got it. I got it. I looked at it. The shoes. She did like a funny face at first. So I'm like, oh no. Like she found mine and she did a little funny face and I was like, she's about to tell me I was denied, but I got it. I can't show you, but I got it. We're back with the cows because I feel like they're good luck now. I got the visa and I also got some crazy good news. They're changing the rules December 1st. So right now, when I'm applying, you only get 6 months worth of a visa, and then you have to apply after the 6 months for an extension. But they just told me that now, after December 1st, the visa is actually an entire year. And when you apply for the extension, it's for another year. The visa was for 6 months plus 6 months, and now it's for 1 year. And she said, me specifically, I will be 6 months, plus I can apply again for another year. So the working holiday visa is now for 2 years. This is like the best news I think I've ever got. I'm so happy right now. Okay, yeah, that was so much stress over the past couple months, and now it's all done, and now nothing can stop me. That was the last thing. Okay, so that's pretty much it. That's the whole process to getting the visa, the working holiday visa, as a Canadian for Japan. Just a quick recap. Things you need to gather before the application process. Passport, filled out application form, a doctor's signed note saying that you are in good health, 3 months worth of bank statements to show your savings to show that you have enough money to support yourself when you get to Japan, a recent photo of you printed, your resume, a letter explaining why you want the working holiday visa in the first place, a detailed itinerary of your stay, and a round-trip airline ticket. Now, this is the stuff that's pretty obvious, but I'm gonna say it anyways. I'm not an immigration lawyer. Make sure you do your own research and check out the process for yourself. I don't want to be responsible for anybody not showing up with the right stuff. The point of this was just to clear up some things that might not be too clear when you read on the website. This process for the working holiday visa is for Canadians. So there's working holiday visas for other countries, but the rules can be slightly different, like the requirements or even the amount of money that you are required to have. There is a limit of how many people are allowed to get the working holiday visa per year from each country. So for Canada, it is 6,500. Because I'm applying at the end of the year, I'm applying in December, I called to make sure that I could even apply because I asked if I should just wait until the New Year's when the quota resets. And the lady at the embassy, she laughed on the phone. Apparently, in her whole time working at the embassy for over 30 years, Canada has never even come close to hitting that quota. So if you're from another country, just make sure you check it out because I know for some it's very low, like 300 people per year. Unfortunately, the US does not have a working holiday visa program. A lot of the discourse online about visas comes from America, so I just want to make sure you know you have to find a different way to get in. Make sure you book an appointment. You can't just show up when you have everything together. You have to actually book an appointment, and it can't be within 3 weeks of your intended date to leave. If you book an appointment and your scheduled date to leave is a week later, they won't even accept the visa. You have to make sure it's at least 3 weeks. And even though you're allowed to leave at any time within 12 months, if your plans are over 3 months in the future, they'll also reject you, which is weird. But that's the rules. For the Toronto embassy, you can only call to make the appointment, but I saw for the Vancouver embassy, you can only make the appointment online. So make sure you check whichever embassy is closest to you and how to make that appointment. Make it as early as possible when you have your date to leave. You have to make sure that you can go to the embassy twice. So if you don't live in any of the cities where it is, that can be a little bit more difficult. You have to be there in person to apply, and you have to be there in person to pick your visa up. So for me, it was 10 days, but they say it can take up to 3 weeks. So make sure you're just prepared to either come back to the city for a second time or to stay there for that long. Also, they keep your passport for this whole process, so make sure you have no plans to leave the country or to use it for anything. That is the whole process on how to get this type of visa specifically for Canadians to go on a working holiday visa trip to Japan. I hope it helped out at least one person. And if you like videos about Japan or traveling, definitely like or give me a follow because I'm going to be documenting the entire trip, the entire move, including moving my dogs over to Japan.